together. With that, Mesdames et Messieurs, j'ai le grand plaisir, privilège de vous présenter et d'inviter le Premier ministre Carney à vous annoncer les bonnes nouvelles de ce matin. Merci tout le monde. Merci encore. Monsieur le Premier ministre.
Alors, merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre. Secretary of State Gainey, Secretary of State Wayne Long, my colleagues Yasser Naqvi, Greg Fergus, Mr. Mayor, friends, it's a great morning. It's always great to be in Nepean. Et tout d'abord, je voudrais remercier à l'équipe complexe récréatif Minto de nous accueillir ici aujourd'hui. Et merci pour tout ce que vous faites pour éduquer, enseigner et optimiser nos enfants. C'est ici qu'ils apprennent et deviennent des adultes brillants, curieux et ambitieux. Now, this is the Friday before the Thanksgiving weekend. And as we were talking a moment ago, it's a time to reflect on the good fortune we have in our lives, the gratitude we feel for our family and loved ones, for our communities, and for our country. It's a time to reflect on what makes Canada great. And these reflections are especially striking, especially poignant right now, after a year in which Canadians have faced an increasingly dangerous and divided world, and the shock of a trade war that's causing big economic uncertainty. You know, these aren't just changes, they're not just a transition, it's a rupture. And Canadians have taken three big lessons from this upheaval. And the first is that we have to look out for ourselves. And that's why Canada's new government is focused on protecting our communities, protecting our borders, protecting our country, and protecting our way of life. And that's from more RCMP and border security officers to new legislation that combats hate, tightens the criminal code, and toughens conditions on bail. Now, the second lesson I think we've taken over the past year, Canadians have learned that we have to focus on what we can control. In a rapidly changing world, that means building our strength here at home. And that's why Canada's new government is moving swiftly with measures to build one Canadian economy, millions of more homes, and major projects that will connect and transform our nation. Because we know, as Canadians, we can give ourselves far more than any foreign government can ever take away. And the third lesson that we've learned is that we have to take care of each other. That's why the government is working to empower Canadians by creating new opportunities, including hundreds of thousands of new high-paying careers, by ensuring workers can get the skills that they need to succeed, and by making new technologies work for you. Et surtout, nous donnons aux Canadiens les moyens d'agir en les aidant à aller de l'avant, en réduisant le coût de vie. Lorsque vous pouvez garder une plus grande partie de l'argent que vous avez gagné, vous pouvez prendre soin de votre famille comme vous le souhaitez et comme vous en rêvez. Vous pouvez participer davantage à la vie de votre communauté et surtout bâtir l'avenir que vous souhaitez. Le futur que vous souhaitez à tous ceux qui se réunissent autour de votre table en ce week-end d'action de grâce. In a few weeks, on November 4th, the Minister of Finance will table our first federal budget. And this is our economic plan to meet this hinge moment in Canada's history. It's our plan for change, our plan to build Canada strong. The budget will set out what we will build. We'll also set out how we will build. In the budget, we'll have to make responsible and pragmatic choices. As the Minister just said, we will spend less on government operations and reduce waste, so Canadians can invest more in their businesses, more in their fellow workers, more in nation-building projects and infrastructure that will build a brighter future for all. We will also take pragmatic decisions so we can protect the programs and initiatives that support the most vulnerable in our society. We'll take decisions that reinforce the programs that help bring down costs for hard-working Canadian families. And we will build programs that help all Canadians get ahead. Bringing down costs so that Canadians can get ahead, that's what we've been relentlessly focused on since being elected just a few months ago. On day one, we canceled the divisive consumer carbon tax, bringing down gas prices by 18 cents per litre. We then cut taxes for 22 million middle-class Canadians, saving two-income families up to $840 a year. Nous avons réduit les impôts afin de diminuer le coût de logement pour les acheteurs de première maison, pour permettre aux Canadiens d'économiser jusqu'à $50 000 lorsqu'ils font l'acquisition d'une maison pour eux et leur famille. We cut tolls on all vehicles on the Confederation Bridge from $50 to $20 and fares by 50% on ferries in Atlantic Canada, to a 25% increase in usage in the first 2 months alone. Nous avons également pris des mesures pour réduire les coûts liés à la connexion Internet. Notre décision de soutenir le projet de CRTC visant à élargir l'accès obligatoire au marché de gros dans notre secteur de télécommunications a été prise pour une seule raison: baisser les coûts liés à l'Internet haut débit pour les Canadiens et Canadiennes, pour vous. Nous avons également lancé le programme Maison Canada afin de contribuer à doubler le rythme de construction de logements au cours des 10 prochaines années. By building Canada strong, we will create enormous opportunities for Canadians. And by lowering your costs, from taxes to broadband to new homes, we're helping you to keep more of your money so that you and your families can get ahead. And in that spirit, I'm announcing 3 new measures that will be in Budget 2025. First, we are launching automatic federal benefits to help our most vulnerable get the money that they're entitled to. Secondly, we're making the National School Food Program permanent to help ensure that all kids have the nutrition they need at school. And thirdly, we're going to have some fun. We're renewing the Canada Strong Pass so that more Canadians can experience the best that our great country has to offer. So I just want to say a few words before taking your questions about each of these. To start, we're going to launch what we're calling automatic federal benefits for more than 5.5 million low-income Canadians. See, the situation is that millions of lower-income Canadians don't file their taxes, either because they don't have the resources to do so or because they think that their income is too low for it to matter. And that means, too often, that the people who most need benefits often don't get them. Could mean missing out on the GST, HST tax credit, the Canada Child Benefit, the Canada Workers Benefit, the Canada Disability Benefit, and the Disability Tax Credit. Les personnes admissibles au crédit d'impôt pour personnes handicapées et à la prestation canadienne pour personnes handicapées recevront $3 000 grâce aux nouvelles prestations fédérales automatiques. I'll give another example. A single parent with 2 young children who earns $15,000 from a part-time job is eligible for substantial federal and provincial benefits. And using this new system, the CRA's new automated and free process, they'll need to just provide a few details, confirm their information on a pre-filled out tax form from the CRA. And then they will receive all the benefits to which they're entitled. In the case of the example I just gave, that's more than $25,000 for their family. Canada's new government will start pre-filing tax returns in the 2026 tax year, scaling up to that 5.5 million number of low-income Canadians by the 2028 tax year. This program will pay out hundreds of millions of dollars in benefits in the next few years that would otherwise be left unclaimed, helping our most vulnerable get the supports that they need. The second initiative to bring down costs is to make the National School Food Program permanent. This is Canada. No child should go to school hungry or sit in a classroom all day wondering where their next meal will come from. All our children should be focused on learning. Since it launched this past year, the National School Food Program has provided healthy meals to over 400,000 children across this country. It's saving parents with 2 children about $800 a year on groceries. Until today, this program was a pilot. It was temporary, with only 3 years of funding remaining. But the challenges that it addresses are essential. They're fundamental. So today we're announcing we'll move forward with the funding and legislation to make it permanent. Canada's new government will keep working with the provinces, the territories, and Indigenous partners to expand this program across Canada so even more kids can benefit. And thirdly, as I said at the start, we're renewing the Canada Strong Pass for 2026. Canada has stunning national parks, fascinating historic sites, pardon me, I'm choked up, world-class museums, renowned galleries. We created the Canada Strong Pass so that Canadians can see more of our great country for less money. The pass provided this summer Canadians with free entry to our national parks and historic sites, and discounted or free tickets to our national galleries and museums, so that Canadians could be inspired by the best of Canadian nature, Canadian creativity, and Canadian history. The Canada Strong Pass also gave families free or discounted Via Rail tickets, letting more of them travel together to experience Canada's stunning landscapes and destinations and to be with each other. It was a big hit. Canadians spent the summer using the pass to see more of our country's best for less. The pass boosted Via Rail ridership by 13%. Visitors to our parks, our museums, historic sites were up an average of 15%. Since Canadian families love the Canada Strong Pass, and since no one can possibly experience all that Canada has to offer in just a few short months, we're renewing it for the summer of 2026. And we're also launching it for this holiday season starting in mid-December, giving Canadians the opportunity to take advantage of the discounts that the pass offers at what is an expensive time of year. Nous vivons dans un pays magnifique et les Canadiens veulent en voir davantage. Nous renouvelons donc le Pass Canada Fort pour l'été prochain, afin que vous puissiez faire de l'escalade de la Parc national Banff et admirer les œuvres de groupe des 7 à la Galerie nationale d'art ici à Ottawa. Et nous le remettons en place pour cette période de fête. Ainsi, lorsque vos enfants seront en vacances scolaires pendant 2 semaines, vous pouvez sortir de chez vous et visiter nos musées et nos galeries. Ou peut-être économiser un peu plus en prenant le train pour rendre visite à vos proches. You know, the trade war has revealed the limits to our economic independence, limits that we must tackle head-on, and we are and we will. And yes, in Canada, we have our challenges, we have our differences, some of which may even come up at the dinner table over Thanksgiving. But the events of this past year have reminded us that Canada is the greatest country on earth. And they have revealed a nation that's more united, generous, innovative, and ambitious, and a country that's ready to build what's right. Together, we'll make Canada even better. Pour le faire, nous devrons prendre des décisions importantes et faire des choix responsables. pour protéger nos communautés, pour réaliser de grandes choses ensemble et pour nous donner mutuellement les moyens d'agir. Car nous ne pouvons pas contrôler ce que font les autres nations. But we can control what we choose to build. And we choose to build Canada strong for all Canadians. Vive le Canada and happy Thanksgiving.